We're lucky enough to have a few minutes to visit with Sister Angela Ann Zukowski. She is the director of the Institute for Pastoral Initiatives and a professor at the University of Dayton. And her background in research, she explores brain development and the effect of digital learning on faith formation. She gave a presentation or spoke on this morning. Sister, I'm going to start by asking you, talk about the new digital civilization.
Yes, and I'm very happy to, because traditionally when we think about all these new emerging technologies that we have around us, we think of it as technologies, or we refer to it as that we're living in a digital age, or we've heard it referred to as a digital culture. That's what Pope John Paul II referred it to. But Pope Benedict referred it to as a digital civilization. And that is much broader, much deeper, and that transforms everything. And I think we need to take seriously that we are living in a new time, and that is a digital civilization, and that we have a role and responsibility not only to be formed by this civilization, but also form that civilization.
One of the things we talked about in doing a little background for this is we talked about the development of a new human consciousness and the effect and how this is being created by the digital civilization. Explain what that new consciousness is and what it means for us.
Right, and I think that's important. This new human consciousness we're talking about is that how people are thinking, perceiving, moving, behaving, and acting today is radically different because the digital resources, the internet and social media networking are extensions. They're extensions of who we are as human persons, and so they are altering our understanding of what it means to be human in the 21st century. So this human consciousness that is beginning to emerge of a new way of thinking about ourselves is also impacting our Catholic theological anthropology, which means how do we as Catholics define what it means to be human? Because there is much shifting going on, and we need to be conscious of this and continue to explore that question.
So as it affects our consciousness and brain development, what are the challenges? What's it doing to us, and how do we overcome them or change the way we do things?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I think that without a doubt, there are many positive advantages, and I do not deny what those advantages are. But we can be so caught up with using it because it's always the latest and we need to have it, we forget thinking of what are some of the more passive, or I don't want to say negative, but maybe a negative impact of that. I think one is that we're losing a sense, we're living in a culture of distraction. All of this stuff is coming at us, and people think they have to be on their iPhones, on their plugged in someplace 24/7. There's no place for contemplation. Where's the place for silence without not being plugged in all the time, not being wired? And God works through silence and through contemplation. So our young people I find young people sometimes don't know how to sit still for more than 5 seconds. Unless they're actually engaged and involved in doing and being. And yet a part of being human is having that contemplative side. That's where our creativity also comes through. So one of the dangers is we lose our sense of silence, our sense of contemplation. We lose a sense of historical memory if we only take that which is most recent without looking at it in the history of the past. And I think another concern that I have is that we soon begin to lose focus of how to understand social cues and understand gestures in communication, because we're all doing virtually. And finally, I think we may just forget how to write because read, because they only read in 140 characters and they don't write anymore. So I think that there are some dangers insofar as we can turn these around if we're aware of what they are.
Which brings me to my last question. If someone who couldn't make it to the conference or someone who has been here is interested in learning more about your work and these topics, where should they start?
Well, one thing they could do is you could email me at azukowski, AZUKOWSKI 1 at udayton.edu, or just simply contact the University of Dayton and look up my name. I'd be happy to send you a bibliography of what I'm recommending, and I'd be happy to talk to you, or maybe one of our staff would be happy to talk to you.
Well, thanks so much for taking time to talk with us today.